I think I met you probably, I'd say a year ago now, and we had our conversation when I came for my first haircut here. And I was like, I didn't know there was this many elements that goes into sort of barbering and the way you were breaking it down and explaining. And I think it sort of helped that we were both from an Indian background
For sure.
as well. And what really interested me at the start was what got you into barbering? That step that you sort of took. Could you explain a bit about that?
I've always loved hair, bro. Like, you know, I think ever since I was a kid, I was obsessed with hair. I was always doing my hairstyle in different ways and stuff. But what got me into it was, firstly, bro, I've got a bung head. Like the shape of it is not it, right? So I would go and get a cut from different barbers and it would never be what I wanted it to be. So then I remember I went on YouTube and I looked up how to cut your own hair just for fun, right? And I started messing around, cut my own hair. And from that point, I was like, obviously, don't get me wrong, I butchered myself multiple times, but then I just kept on doing it and I got better and better and better. And
so you started cutting your own hair, not on others.
I wasn't even trying to be a barber, bro.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, again,
save a bit of money, cutting your own hair. Yeah.
Literally. Yeah. I was like thinking to myself, cool, if I invest $600 in tools, that's, at the time I was paying $50 for a cut. That's if I do 12 haircuts, that's my money back. Right. And so that's how I got into it. I started cutting my own hair and I got pretty decent at it. And then I was like, this is fun. And then my mates are like, oh, bro, can you cut my hair? And I'm like, bet, I'll cut your hair. And then it's just kind of steamrolled from there and cut my mates.
Yeah.
And here we are.
So what were you doing at the time for work?
Yeah.
On the side, were you doing anything just for some extra cash?
Yeah. So I used to work at the casino.
You were at a cash, like dealing chips and, geez, I've spent a lot of money there, bro.
I probably took money from you.
Yeah.
Straight up. No, I was working at the casino. I was dealing like blackjack, like baccarat, all these like different games.
Yeah.
I was working night shift as well. It was cool to start. Yeah. But like 5 years in, bro, it was not it.
Right.
It was just like so repetitive. You're just a robot, to be
fair. Yeah.
And that's when I kind of started messing around with barbering. And then eventually, I think maybe a couple months in, I'm like, cool, bro, let me lock in on this and make this happen. And eventually kind of transitioned out of the casts and just started cutting full time. And,
then you set this sort of space up when you started sort of pivoting into that? No.
Not at all, bro.
Where did you first start cutting?
If you actually scroll down my page, you'll see... Bro, it was just the dingiest old garage, right? Like just a typical garage, right?
Yeah.
And I was just having fun with it. And eventually when I did decide to take it seriously, I was like, cool, let me actually invest a bit of money in this space. And it's just slowly started doing bits to it, bro. Like got the floors done and then just got the walls done, whatever, bro. I just kind of upgraded as I went. And then it took me about 1.5 years to get it to look like this. And
And so at that time... From what I remember, you were still in uni and you were studying at that time. You were still studying and now you've started, getting a bit of momentum cutting hair.
Nah, so towards the end of, I was at the cast and I was also going to uni.
Yep.
And then I was like, bro, uni wasn't it for me. It wasn't even uni. It was basically, you know how you do the transition course to uni?
Yep.
It was TAFE.
One of those, TAFE courses.
Deakin College or whatever.
Yeah.
And I deferred, right?
Yeah.
Never went back.
Yeah.
So I deferred to work full time, and then towards the end of me working at Crown,
Deacon's still sending you emails. Where are you?
Straight up, 100%. Every 4 months, they're like, oh,
where are you?
Yeah. So So uni wasn't really. I wasn't in uni towards the end of Crown, and then when I started, barbering. So. Yeah.
Right. And when you make that transition, you obviously at the start, like anything, you don't know how much momentum it's going to get. You just do it for fun. You do it for the extra cash. It's an escape from your work because you enjoy it, right?
100%.
And then it starts to pick up momentum and, your social circle or your friends and your family is starting to see that. Mm-hmm. At that point, what I've noticed with my previous businesses is friends and family, they're all on board when you start. because it's something cool to see and do, and they'll participate. I've got a social circle around me that's very tight, and they're always supportive of what I do, which is great. In your sense, was that the same when you first started? Was the support there? Obviously, friends and family are different, but how does that work in with barbering?
Yeah, so family is a unique one. I think being obviously Indian, I don't think they respected it at the start. They just thought I'm just having fun with it, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, let him do his thing. And then so family-wise, don't get me wrong, I didn't not get supported. It's not like, oh, you shouldn't do this. But I definitely feel like I could have got a little bit more support by them.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, they're on board now, which is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a little bit tough at the start. But then again, also, I use that as fuel, right? Because to be fair, I knew that what I was doing back then, or just the entire way that I'll get to where I'm at now, because I just back myself.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, I didn't really, care too much. But when it comes to friends, of course, they were very supportive, bro.
Yeah.
Mates were always backing me. I fucked all their hair up as well at the very start.
Yeah. Making the mistakes, cutting it. Getting improving.
Yeah. So friends were sweet with it, bro.
And when you made that transition and you've dropped uni and you're pursuing barbering your entire time, is there ever a doubt in your head that, oh shit, this might not work out? Because obviously the momentum's building. It's great. It's all going well. But let me get it straight. It's not easy to be a full-time barber when you first start off because one, you're getting older.
100%.
You've got expenses, you've got bills, sometimes tools, for example, you need to balance those bills with the revenue that you're generating. Is there ever a time in your head that there's doubt or is it not going to work out? For me, I like to approach everything, all the businesses that I've started as there's never a doubt. I focus on, there's so many tasks at hand. You don't get time to focus on the doubts.
Exactly the same, bro? I think doubt for me at the very start, there just wasn't any because literally what you said, my life was just consumed by it.
Yeah.
So I'd cut hair, I'll be at home, but I'll cut hair here and I'll just watch hair cutting content and then I will, either just practice a little bit more on like mannequins or whatever. So it was just, my life was just consumed by it. So, I never really had any doubts at all, bro.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't just the cutting hair. Obviously, the social media side of things as well, I kind of picked up quite early. I think 2019, 2020, I understood that IG.
I think I discovered you through Instagram.
Exactly.
It was one of the content, the videos that you posted.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I understood quite early that, Instagram's not just a place where you upload photos, bro. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew that it's a very, what's the right word? It's a tool, right? That you can use to actually market yourself for whatever you're doing, man. It could be anything, right? So I caught on to that quite early. And then so it was more just obviously cutting hair, but also understanding how to create content. And then in the content creation space, there's obviously different elements. You got to understand how to record. You got to understand how to edit. You got to understand all this, right? Like all the lighting,
cameras and lighting.
Yeah, man. So my life was just consumed by that. So I
Right.
didn't really doubt it at all, bro.
Yeah. And then what was your starting price for a haircut?
$15.
$15. It was $15.
$15. Free cuts at the start. It was when I was butchering my mates. Free cuts.
Yeah.
And then $15. Yeah.
I don't think you can find a barber that cuts hair for $15 now. I don't think that.
You might in Springvale, bro.
Maybe, possibly.
$7.50.
$7.50 for a haircut. I don't know how good the fade might be, but it's
it'll be no consultation. Just one guard. What do you want?
What do you want?
Get this, no problem.
That's it. Straight in. It's just got photos of the haircut that you want. You just choose one. You just select. I want that one, and then this is stock standard haircut. That's funny. So what do you charge now?
$150.
$150.
Yeah.
From you to get to 15 to 150, something must have changed. Yeah. And it's a for those barbers that are starting out now.
Yep.
They're probably charging 25 to 30, I'd say is the average price.
Yeah.
For them to get from that to a position where you're at 150 or somewhere in between, what is the steps that it takes and what's involved in that?
So the biggest thing I could tell, are you saying like what I would tell a
young
that's
barber
doing-
who's doing 25, 30 at the moment,
Yep.
who potentially want to focus on more quality clients as their quality of work improves, what are the steps they would need to take? I'm sure your course highlights a lot of that.
100%. Yeah, for
But
sure.
generic,
Yep.
what are the steps they sort of need to take in order to get to that level or attain that level?
For sure, bro. So there's literally only 3 things they should really focus on, right? Number 1 is understanding how to cut better hair, because at $25 a cut, you're not obviously that great at cutting hair. So you need to always focus on improving the skill set of barbering. But at the same time, you also need to focus on understanding the core fundamentals of videography and editing, because that's what's going to allow you to create content on IG to attract new clients.
The viral videos.
100%, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, a lot of barbers focus on viral content, right? Which is cool.
Yeah.
It gets some views, it gets some likes.
Yeah.
But if you understand core fundamentals of like editing and videography, bro, you can create anything, right? Because you don't, at that point, need to like learn how to do a trend.
Yeah.
Because you understand why that trend works, because
Right.
you've got like a deep understanding of those 2 parts, right? Videography and editing.
Yeah.
So yeah, to answer your question, those 3 things would be
Right.
my primary focus if I was like a barber that's charging 25. But at the same time, bro, it's just who you surround yourself with and like
Yeah.
what type of, it's because to raise prices, it's not, the metrics could make sense, right? Like let's say you're booked for 2 weeks, let's say, or whatever, right? And you bring in X amount of new clients per month. You're also making content that's actually getting new clients. Everything could make sense. But if you are emotionally attached to the business, then you won't be able to raise prices.
Right.
Because at a certain price point, if you get the $50 odd a haircut, you're going to keep telling yourself, oh, I really enjoy having conversations with this guy. Oh man, I'm actually really good mates with this guy. If I raise my prices now, they're going to leave my business, because you're emotionally attached to your business. Do you know
Right.
what I mean?
No, I get that.
So
100%.
you have to,
I think you've described the key elements really well. I think high quality at what you do, the marketing fundamentals, and not being emotionally attached. I think I've seen that sort of across all businesses.
Yeah.
I think any business has those 3 fundamentals for you to be able to succeed or grow in that. And I guess that's no different with barbering. You said that the marketing and the content side of things, were you one of the first ones to start posting on social media, or who were you looking to? You weren't was there no one doing it?
No, definitely,
Yeah.
bro. Like I think with content, right? It's
Yeah.
everyone, there's no such thing as an original idea, right?
Yeah.
Everyone gets inspiration
I
from
mean,
somewhere.
creativity I'd say is just seeing something that
It's
you
just
like,
feeling like an artist, right?
taking it correct. Yeah.
That's it, man. Because you take inspiration from things that you see, and then you kind of make it a baby of your own. So for
Yeah.
me, when I first started, there was, you might even know of him, bro, Sam Rascals. I don't know if you've.
Nah, I haven't seen
Okay,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
He's a barber, bro. This guy's like, he's that guy.
Go, yeah.
He's that guy.
Aussie, Australian?
No, he's in UK.
UK. Yeah.
He's on like 1.2 mil followers, and I love the way he was making content back then. Well, he still is making content, but you know, I took a little bit of inspiration out of that, and just watching a couple more guys in America, and then just formed it my own thing.
Yeah. I think
So-
as Australians, I think that's what we're starting to do really well at the moment is we're taking ideas from, because a lot of times UK or USA are ahead of us.
Yep.
And they sort of create the trend, or they record a certain way and they create the content. That gives us an avenue or the opportunity to take a bit of that and create our own sort of spin on it and put our spin on it.
Bro, I think we're in the best position.
We're in the
man,
best
like,
position.
in Australia, because we're always grabbing bits and pieces from either what you said, right, UK or Europe,
Yeah.
and America, so we can form our own little baby, right?
100%.
Just different bits of
And I think that's what makes
inspiration.
Australia, great, is because we can take that, and then might not be there's gaps in the market where a lot of people haven't yet explored that or done that as of yet. Whereas Dubai is a whole different ballgame. It's funny because you just got back from Dubai,
Yeah.
and I recently visited as well. And one thing that we both sort of said in common was it humbles you. Dubai humbles you, but in the best way possible.
Best way possible.
What did you speak on that? So why did you initially go to Dubai? Was it for?
Yeah. So I'm now basically transitioning out of cutting hair. So I'm now full-time coaching barbers on how to scale their business.
Yeah.
So it's an online mentorship program, and just to help, because honestly, there's no formal education or any type of business education for barbers at all.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that are doing it by themselves, like this in a garage or in a spare room or whatever it might be, right? And so I was, I guess, fortunate enough to have scaled this to where it's currently at. And so my next thing is to help barbers scale their biz and get to where I'm at, essentially, right? And so long story short, it's obviously an online business, but for a online business, there's so many different. It's a legit business, right? When you're a self-employed person, you think you're that guy. You're running a business. You're like, oh, I'm running a business. You're not running a business, right?
Yeah.
And so when there's actual employees involved or there's different departments that you look after, it's a big learning curve. So I've got a mentor who has helped me understand that realm of business, and that's what I was in Dubai for. It was a 3-day event for people that are also trying to scale a business that's online.
Yep.
So yeah, I was there for that, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. And in there, when I went to Dubai, I think what I noticed was go into a restaurant, you open up the menu and you compare that to the prices here and you go, there's no way, everyone's being able to afford this price point.
Yeah.
Then you look around and the restaurants are full, right? And you come back here, and one thing that Dubai taught me, like I told you before, is it motivates you because you have a goal to work towards and something to strive towards. Did you feel that when you travel? Have you done much traveling?
I've done a little bit, not too much.
Yeah.
But Dubai has just been the best thing that's happened to me, man, because it has completely reset your paradigm. Right?
Yeah.
Or it reset my paradigm in the way where you think that you're doing well, right? Like you might be doing whatever, 20, 30K a month.
Yep.
But then that's just honestly like it's a starting point for what's happening in Dubai, right? So yeah, man, it was great. It was really good because like I said, resets your paradigm, but also I love chaos, bro. I genuinely love chaos. Like I was born in Mumbai. Yeah. Right. And
so if for everyone that doesn't know, we both are from an Indian background. So Prasad's from Mumbai, I'm from Kerala. So, being Indian, we share that. And I think culturally, family, India, where we're from, is chaos, and we thrive in
chaos, man. You know what? I moved into an apartment here a couple of years ago, just in Clayton as well.
Yeah.
And I moved in there, and I got a nice, decent view, just out the balcony and whatnot. And back then, I'm like, oh, this is sick, right? Like, I've got a nice view. And then now, after coming back from Dubai, I'm like, what the fuck? This is trash.
Yeah.
I love chaos, bro. Like, in Dubai, I was just naturally moving different, bro.
Right,
Because everything around you is moving quick. So you just kind of blend in, right?
Blend in with that. You said we just touched on, we're both Indian and from that Indian background. Does that shape you in any way when you first started or now culturally, or, cultural influence from, especially being Indian? Mm-hmm. What I've noticed is that it shapes you in who you are and how you sort of see the world. Is that the same for you and on how you,
Absolutely, man. I think I've learned so much from my parents, right?
Indian people are hardworking, man. Indian people are very hardworking.
It's insane, bro.
Yeah.
I've learned so much from my parents. I've learned so much from my brother as well. And, my parents genuinely came from nothing in Mumbai. And so seeing that level of, or my dad's vision and, coming to a different country, starting all over again, all of that has definitely inspired me, man, big time. I think I always say this, I'm like, I am so fucking blessed, bro. Like to act, because I genuinely believe I'm not even meant to be here, bro. Because like, you know how people kind of start at a certain level and then they might, because in India as well, my parents, like I said, were very poor. For them to even get out of that and do well in India is like they've kicked the goal. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But they over exceeded that, right? They came to a different country for a better life for us, right? And so that lights a fire in my belly, man.
For sure.
It's like, bro, I'm not going to fucking take this shit for granted. Right?
100%.
Like, I'm going to make sure that I do everything that I possibly can to look after them firstly.
Yeah.
But also to just squeeze as much juice out of life as I possibly can.
100%.
So, yeah.
100% agreed. And I think anyone who has immigrant parents that move to another country,
It's a different drive, bro.
it's the kids have a different drive to either
100%.
get on the same level or exceed that level. I've always said this to my friends or anyone in my social circle is that if your parents could do that and come from nothing from a country like India, then you have no excuses when you've got no responsibilities really at a young age. You should be capable to do more or exceed that. And like you said, that has always been motivation for myself and sort of I think any brown kid or Indian kid.
Yeah.
Well, we're always taught hard work from a very young age. It's do this, get your homework done, get good grades. Was grades important for your parents?
Oh, big time, bro.
Yeah,
Big time,
yeah.
100%. And I completely disappointed him,
Yeah.
bro.
Not anymore.
Yeah, but you know what the thing is as well, because I don't know, I'd love to know your side
Yeah.
of things on this, but my parents have grew up knowing what they know, which is work a job,
Yeah.
get the best high paying job. My dad's an engineer, right? So
Yeah.
get that, become an engineer, lawyer, doctor, right? All them. And that's all they knew. So when it comes to running a business, they actually have no clue how these sort of things work. And so they still don't really understand anything that I'm doing. So I can't really go to them for advice or anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going on a tangent. What was the question?
It was about it was about motivation and family and about your grades in school. Did your parents care about it?
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, no, definitely. So I disappointed them there. But yeah, I think they like me now. I think.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I mean, I'm sure they do. My situation is very similar. As in, see, I wasn't a dumb kid. I did all right in school. Went to uni, graduated, did all that. My parents are always.
Bro, your parents love you, bro. You got that degree.
The grade, got the paper, got that done, got the degree.
Sick.
I think for them it was like you said, Indian parents moving here. My mother's a nurse, and dad travels overseas and he works, and he still does that.
That's amazing, bro.
And from him, the drive and work ethic is what I learned, and mum, it's the compassion and sort of, the belief. You just sort of need that one person to believe in what you're doing. And I'm sure in your situation, it was the same, is that if you have one person backing you and supporting you, I think that's all it takes. Because let's be honest, I think starting a business or going out venturing on your own sometimes is majority of the time is challenging, and that can have an impact on your mental sometimes. Is that the same for you? And how did you sort of maneuver that mental challenges, the mental blocks? Is there, do you do the mantras, or is it religious beliefs, or is it someone that backed you?
Bro, honestly, recently I've just gotten into meditation. Right?
Yeah.
And I've even recently started going to the temple again.
Right.
Because as a kid.
So you are from a Hindu background.
I'm Hindu, bro. Yeah. And, as a kid, you kind of just throw that off. You're like, oh, fuck that, bro. That shit's lame. And the older you get, you start to realize the things, or you start to look at life a little bit differently, bro.
Yeah.
Right. I think when you get chaos thrown at you, you do need some type of peace. So yeah, man, to answer your question, for sure, bro, I've kind of dabbled with meditation a little bit. And it honestly brings you a lot of peace, bro.
Meditation. I think
meditation, even going to the temple, bro.
Yeah.
What are you?
For Christian.
Okay, cool,
Christian.
cool.
So very similar.
Church.
Nice. So now the Good Friday, Easter's coming up.
That,
we've had 3 days, 3 days of church. For me as well, just like yourself, previously when I was younger, I think religion was never it was never something that you turned to or you followed. But in recent times, as like you said, as chaos or things, you get closer to God.
Absolutely.
And you realize the importance of sort of spirituality and going to church, or in your case, going to a temple. And I think it's important to keep that intact. Or well, personally for me, which has been good. mentally right now for me, it's just been hitting the gym. I think the gym has been, and you used to train. Are you still training?
I'm still training.
You're still training at the moment?
Yeah, still training. I recently got into running, bro.
Really? Okay. There's a lot of I've seen a lot of run clubs at the moment pop up on Instagram and things like that. Yeah.
It's man, anything that can put your body under copious amount of power. I know you fight too, right?
Yeah. Got into MMA recently. Yeah, kickboxing recently, which is good.
How good do you feel after, bro?
A lot better. Yeah.
Because you know you put your body through so much pain or duress and. Yeah, man, right after, like, while you're doing it, you're like, what the fuck? Why am I doing this? You know?
100%. I'm in pain.
Yeah, whenever I'm running.
My trainer's kicking me in the head. I'm in pain. Why am I here?
What the fuck am I doing? Yeah. But then after that, you're like, oh, wow, that was the best thing. So
for sure.
Nah, for sure, bro. I think you have to have some type of a physical exercise activity.
Yeah.
Especially when you're running a business, man, to keep your body or your mind sane more than anything. You know?
100%. Yeah. For me, what's been good is I go gym with one of my best mates. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of me and him utilize that time if there's anything outside of gym, any sort of discussions or because we're building a business together as well.
Love that, bro.
So we utilize that time rather than a sit down, desk bound meeting. Yep. I think if you're out and about, either grabbing a coffee, hitting the gym or that sort of you're getting your workout done. And then in the same time, you can get your, the talks down. Recently, gym has not even been about the gains or putting muscle mass on. It's been for the mental.
Spot on.
It's been for, getting there, getting a workout in and how you feel afterwards because of the chemical release or just you've done something good or hard for the day and it sets your week up. Either you're going in the morning or going at night.
Do you train mornings, bro?
I haven't trained. I gave it a go, but I just can't get out of bed that early. That's the problem, bro. I can't get out of bed that early. Yeah. So I tried it. I see these tutorials. I don't know if you've seen one of the funny, the trend that's going on is Ashton Hall. Is this
Louis got the Ashton Hall.
He's got the Ashton Hall, exactly.
He sets
up all the cameras. It's
locked in, starts editing.
That's it. Yeah, no, I can't do the Ashton Hall. I tried waking up at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
I wish I could be that guy, but I'm not.
What's your routine, bro?
For me, it's work. So if I get up at a certain time, either 7 or 8. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I won't get up till later because I'm in a long distance relationship at the moment. So got to get the calls in, speak to the missus, do that, which is family and social circle is always number one for me. That is my priority. So,
bro, it's one of the human needs, bro. Like
100%.
Crashes, bro. Without that, you're gonna go insane, bro.
100%. And
because because I've been in phases where I've just completely locked in, right, where you do months and months and months of just focused work. I remember one time I was kind of just working. It was when I was building this program online. Yeah. And that took me a lot of time, a lot of effort. But man, I'd be so focused or whatever. I'll be doing work. I'll go downstairs to get a coffee. I'm like, I'll forget how to speak. Like I'm like, because I haven't had social interactions bro, for so long.
This is how I felt. This is how I felt coming out of COVID.
Yeah.
That time is with our social interaction. I 100% agree with what you're saying.
For sure. No, it's really good, bro.
I think so. Really get that done and then find a period where you could just focus on work and get your work done. So right now our office is based in Croydon. So it's a bit of a trek or travel. But for me, I like to separate my environments and where I work because I think that's very important as well. So having a place dedicated to enjoyment, having a place dedicated to work, having a place dedicated to social setting, I think is really important. Because when you're in that setting, you're forced to conform or you're forced to do that. So I think that's been really helpful. If you're in the gym, you're training, you're working out, you're talking shit with your mates. Yeah. If you're in your office, all you're doing is working. If you're in the leisure room or if you're in the family room, you're watching TV, you're chilling out, you're watching Netflix or doing whatever. Mm-hmm. So what's been really helpful for me recently is finding that balance across, like you said, the physical, the mental, the spiritual, the social. Mm-hmm. Once all those elements sort of come, I haven't balanced it. I don't know if
almost there.
I don't think
you've ticked off a lot, bro.
We'll try. I don't think anyone has balanced. I think that's, you know what I mean. Me and my mate spoke about this the other day. We spoke about fulfillment, right? And we spoke about is fulfillment or when do you know, okay, I've made it and I'm happy. Mm-hmm. And he told me, and he was like to me, for me, it's when I'm at peace and I've got nothing to worry about, right? And I sort of disagreed. I was like, no, maybe the fulfillment is doing the challenging things and tackling those on a weekly, on a monthly basis, doing the hard yards is what brings me fulfillment. Is that the same for you, or how do you see?
I would say mine's literally right in between you and your mate, right?
Yeah.
For me, when I'm the most fulfilled is when I'm genuinely in like a flow state, right?
Yeah.
When if I'm working on something and I've got kind of a routine where I've just got my headphones in, right? And I've got a hoodie on and I'm just like completely focused on that one thing. And that's when I truly feel happy. It could be anything, right? Like I'll get into a flow state when I'm cutting hair, bro.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
like I'm
yeah.
cutting hair if I'm obviously having a conversation, but you're also just really focusing on the haircut. Or when it comes to doing any type of work, even at home for this online biz, I feel like fulfillment for me is setting a goal that is quite extraordinary, maybe. That's not like, you can get there in the next couple of months. And just creating a path or a way to actually get there
Yeah,
and just working towards that day by day.
I get that. Yep.
But if you set this monumentous goal, it might overwhelm you. Right?
Yeah.
So you kind of need to break that down into,
Achievable goals.
And
yeah.
as long as whatever task I set for myself for that day, I should go through and get it done, bro.
Yeah.
I'm fucking over the moon that day.
100%.
Right?
I couldn't agree more. I think a lot of people focus too much on their end goal and the dream.
Bro, it's
But-
as cliche as it sounds. It's
Yeah.
everyone's heard this, right? It's
Yeah.
like the journey is actually what
Is fulfilling.
100%,
100%. Yeah.
100%.
And those little, like you said, breaking it down to those actionable tasks that you can do
100%.
on a daily basis. I think if you can tackle those, at the end of the day, you can look back when you're hitting the gym session or you're kicking back and watching Netflix or whatever you do at the end of the day. You can go, I deserve it.
100%,
I've worked hard. I've ticked off all the tasks. It's always good to have that dream and that sort of end goal.
Yeah.
But it should be in the back of your head. You should, like you said,
Exactly,
actionable tasks
Exactly.
and goals.
Exactly.
And breaking into that. No, I think that's awesome. I mentioned that I'm in a relationship. While you're in the hustle and the grind, sometimes it's difficult to balance a relationship with what you're doing and work. Is that what you found in your previous relationship, or what's?
I think my perspective's changed now, bro.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I agree with you a lot more now.
Yeah.
I feel like a good partner would probably ground you way more
Yeah,
than that being a distraction. That's what I used to think.
yeah,
And it's because I guess I was very young back then, right? And but yeah, now I think I genuinely believe that if you've got a partner that actually understands what you're doing, and it's because look, the life that you live, I'm assuming, is full on, right? You're working 6 odd, 7 odd days a week or whatever, right? And so you need someone to understand that that's you. You know what I mean? So I think, it's a tricky one because I've been on both ends of the spectrum. We're thinking like, nah, fuck that, I don't need missus. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So now I'm like, you know what? A missus that actually gets it wouldn't be too bad.
Wouldn't be too bad. It's like you just need to know where to find the right person and the good person. And when the time is right, I guess it will work out and it'll come time to that. No, I agree. What's next for P Faded and the brand, and what are you trying to, from what we spoke about, and when I've always connected with you, the conversations have always flowed. There's never, it's been natural. It's always flowed, and we relate on a lot of things. One of the things that we relate on is brand building, and it's crazy to see the steps that you've taken from where you used to be to then where you're headed and what the future plans is. What's next for P Faded? And I know that now you have a course assisting barbers. I was telling you before, all the local barbers that I look at and I click on they're following you, right? Is there what's next for P Faded and the brand, and how do you grow this to the next level?
Yeah, so I'm actually thinking of retiring that, bro. So
P Faded brand is going.
I think so. So
Can we take the signs?
you can if you want, bro. No, you know what? I'm gonna hang that on my bedroom wall, just on top of the bedroom.
Yeah.
Top of my bed. No. I think I'm gonna retire it only because I want to obviously transition into being a personal brand.
Yeah.
Just more just Prasad versus P Faded, because this was an era almost, right?
sure.
Of like the actual barber shop and barber studio.
I don't know if you watch WWE. It's sort of like when John Cena's just turned heel. So I don't know. You don't know much about wrestling.
Yeah.
So John Cena's always been like the good guy, or that's
Yeah.
his brand. And now it's just instant change. And some people receive that well, and some people don't. So you've now just made the decision to go, all right, does the cutting stop completely, and it's now focused on.
I hope my clients don't hear this, bro. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I think I've got probably like 3 months left, bro.
Yeah.
Until I completely transition out of cutting to building the company online. But that's to answer your question. That's the next thing, is to really. It's a 5-10 odd year plan where I really, really want to help as many barbers as I possibly can that want to be successful become successful.
Yeah.
Right. That's really just my vision with it. And I guess the mission is really to revolutionize the online business barbering education, because there's a lot of online barbering education teaching you how to cut hair, but no one really understands how to actually scale the biz, right? So that's the mission. And it's a 5-10 odd year goal
And plan.
and it'll be fun, man. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm genuinely loving it. It's the same thing as, when you're cutting hair and your client comes in looking homeless, and then you give them a fresh cut and they're like, fuck, this was sick, right?
Yeah.
It's the same feeling I get now when I get a barber on board that's roughly doing 5 odd K a month, and then we work together and I build him up to a person that's capable of doing 10, 15, 20 K per month. It is extremely rewarding.
The satisfaction.
It's extremely rewarding, because at the end of the
100%.
day, like, making more money is not really got to do with the things that you're doing. It's just the mental mindset shifts that you're going to get from either a mentor or whatever along the way is what's going to get you that result.
Yeah.
So, seeing these boys grow that I'm working with now, bro, nothing G's me up more. So,
Nah, I respect that. That's awesome. That's cool. And what makes a good haircut?
ooh, what makes a good haircut? Whether it fits your head shape.
Right.
I know I can expand on that.
Yeah, if you can.
Sure, for sure. So I'll give you my example.
Yeah, because what's interested me is, as you grow older, you go through phases, and you get, you have a haircut for a phase, and then you go, and then you get another haircut, and at the start, your dad's putting the ball on your head. At the start, your dad's putting the ball on your head.
Straight up, bro.
And he's got the razor.
He's got the
and
Remington clippers from Kmart.
I'm like, Dad, I've got casual clothes day tomorrow. He's like, don't worry, just trust me, I've got you.
I got you.
Trust me, puts the ball on the head, and he's snipping away. Now you're stuck with the haircut. And then as you grow older, you go through these phases of haircuts. But what makes a haircut good for someone?
I'll give you my example, right? So I have always gotten a high fade. This is a couple of years ago, right? Because everyone had a high fade back then, right? But my head shape, bro, I've got the flattest head shape at the back, right? So the high fade is actually not meant for me. Like I said, it doesn't suit me. I need something that's going to create a bit of shape around the back of my hair or head for it to look from a side profile aesthetic, right? Or pleasing.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I think most guys get a haircut according to trend. Like right now, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but there's like a trend going around. It's called the 16th guard trend within the barbering niche. You probably won't know this, but like it's a trend, and every kid like 16 to 20 odd is trying to get this. But again, bro, it's like you need to find a haircut that actually suits your head shape.
Yeah.
Because honestly, if you find that haircut, bro, it'll completely change the way you firstly feel, but look as well, right? So that's one thing.
And is that what you do in that consultation phase of your cut is break that down for the client and say
100%.
this is probably what suits your.
Well, I'm not gonna. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to completely deviate from what they want.
Yeah.
Right? Like if they want something, I will try and alter that thing that suits them a little bit better. But Actually, no, I lied. I have completely altered.
Yeah, you had to, man. Don't get that, bro.
I had a guy who's like, hey, bro, can I get the Peaky Blinders? And I'm like, no, bro, it's really not going to suit you, man. It's definitely not. Look, you got to be dressed as if you're from the 1800s. Like, it doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
And so I kind of steered him away from that and gave him like a high, tight fade or some shit. And then 2 weeks later, he's like, hey, bro, can I get the Peaky Blinders?
The Peaky Blinders.
And I'm like, yeah, bro, I got you.
Done. We'll get it done. Yeah.
So I just gave him like what he needed. But yeah, so yeah, to answer your question, it's more about what suits you, right?
What suits you. Yeah, I get that. The traditional pathway to become a barber right now in Australia is it a TAFE course that you take? Is it?
So that is technically the traditional. The legit way, bro. But
is people still pursuing that and doing that, or no? It's more now
it's
that
hit and miss, man.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost kind of divided into areas where there's people that do a TAFE course and then even get an apprenticeship at a shop. But there's a lot of people like myself, bro, that are just doing it themselves, right?
Yeah.
Just in a garage by cutting their mates. But I mean, both ends. If you go down the TAFE apprenticeship route, you obviously learn the fundamentals of hygiene, you learn different like scissor techniques, whatever, right? As a home barber, bro, you're trying to figure this out yourself. You know what I mean? So there's pros and cons to both because TAFE and apprenticeship, like they're not really learning how to do trendy haircuts, the things that are popping right now. Whereas at home, that's what you're doing, right? So, I mean, honestly, it's up to the person, bro. Like both sides are sweet. Like for me, I was more of a visual learner.
Yeah.
So I could just watch a YouTube video of a certain cut and try and replicate it. Whereas other people are a little bit more hands-on. So they prefer going to a TAFE and getting both sides sweet, bro.
Both sides sweet and getting that theory. So if someone wants to join who's a barber that's watching at the moment, aspiring to be someone at your level, how can they join your course and how do they sort of get involved in what you're doing? Yeah,
so I'm currently working with self-employed barbers predominantly.
How many at the moment is it?
It's about 41 now that I've got in my program. And so self-employed barbers that are doing their own thing, very similar to me, that are roughly doing about 3 to 5 odd K per month. Yep. And the thing is, I think it just depends on them and their goal, bro, right? Like you could be comfortable or you could be completely happy doing that and staying at that level. But if you really want to take it to the next level and get to the 10, 15, 20K per month mark, it is a process and it takes a lot of sacrifice, right? So for people like that, I would love to work with them and, make that happen for them because it's possible. It's very possible, right? Like I think the biggest kind of mindset shifts that my students get when they first join is seeing everyone else. It's already like doing 15, 20K per month. And then just it completely resets their paradigm.
Yeah.
To, okay, oh shit, that's actually possible. Right?
Yeah.
Because, you're only going to be capable of doing what you think is possible. So,
I've noticed that the perspective changes when you're either associating yourself with that person or you see it possible. I'm from a finance world.
Yep.
So when you're starting off in that world, the people that you surround yourself with or that you hang out with, you're like, this is the benchmark. This is the threshold, right? And then you start hanging out with either execs or senior management, or when you see the way they move and you go, wow, there's the threshold that I wasn't even considering or I didn't even know. You start hanging out with the CEOs and the directors of certain or founders and you go, shit, this is a whole different world and how they operate and how they maneuver the world or circumstances is crazy. And if you have a mentor, I think having a mentor that understands not only the fundamentals and the foundation, who's worked from the bottom up, as well as a good understanding of how to, when you get there, because it's not just about getting there, it's about maintaining that, isn't it?
For sure.
It's about once you get there, how do you maintain
1,000%
and level that off? So I think you've done a great job in that. And now you being able to translate that into a a sellable course and teaching other young barbers who's aspiring to do that is awesome. And that's, I think, what anyone in any industry that's achieved that should be doing. Because at the end of the day, tying this back to our fulfillment that we were speaking about, I think that's what brings fulfillment.
Absolutely,
is
bro.
assisting others, helping others, providing value to others. And if you can do that, you're going to excel not just in your own world, but the others around you are going to excel and come up as well. Is there anyone that you had to cut off, or friendships that you had to end to that were quote unquote, we spoke about it, we said it was distractions?
It's not so much cut off. It's you along the way, as you kind of progress and grow, you attract, or you naturally surround yourself with people that are also trying to progress and grow. So you do form new connections along the way, right? I wouldn't say cut off. Like, I'll still see my mates every now and then, bro, that I used to see back then. But at the same time, I think you definitely need to be very selective of how you spend your time. But yeah, like I said, naturally you start growing, or you start forming a new circle of friends that are also getting after it. And that's just going to continue on happening, bro, right? For sure. Along the way. Like, it's the reason why I think I connected with you so well, bro, right? When you first came in, I'm like, fuck yeah, bro. Like, you're an absolute G. You're doing this. And so, yeah, I think that's just a natural progression of things, right? For
sure. Yeah, no, it makes sense.
But I didn't have to completely cut anyone off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, of course, I'm selective with my time and I won't spend too long with certain people, but that's basically it, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's not like anything.
I get that.
There's no bad blood. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see if there's any questions that
you got it, bro.
I've got.
Does that pot plant look fake as fuck, bro? Huh? Looks pretty legit.
Is it a fake? Is it a fake? Is it a fake pot? Is it really?
It looks legit.
Did you have this the first time I came?
Yeah,
was this around for years?
Yeah. Oh, bro, this thing's been around for.
That's why I was wondering
years.
it. That's why I was wondering at the start. I was like, this has stayed the same level.
Straight up,
this guy either has a PhD in plant maintenance. This guy has a PhD in plant maintenance.
Oh shit!
Or he just has
standards growth. Yeah, I use some insecticide, bro. Just keeps it the same.
Oh, bro, that's jokes.
Forever.
That's funny. So, speaking about the place, this space was designed by you, customized by you.
Yeah, bro. So it was my kind of idea, but I had a client at the time who was an interior designer.
So this is what I mean, bro. If the people that you meet go on.
Bro, this whole place has been built by my clients. Right? So like Sparkies, Chippies, floor layers, which is a mate of mine as well. That wall, it's the best, bro. Like cutting hair, you genuinely get to meet everyone from every profession.
The networking opportunities.
It's insane, bro. It's insane. Like
this podcast happened because of a haircut. Yeah.
100%, right? So yeah, it was designed it was my kind of idea along with his, and then he put it together. And then we used that, I don't know what it's called. It's a 3D modeled
3D rendering.
To put it all together.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so apart from barbering, is there any other hobbies or passions that you follow? I think obviously styling, it looks like a bit of interior designing, plant maintenance. Is there anything that...
Yeah, I'm a part-time gardener, bro.
Part-time gardener.
Bro, I love
pruning, barbering, it goes head in it. Is there anything else that you spend your time on or you do outside of barbering?
Yeah, man. So at this point, it's very full on because I'm managing this and online biz. So I only get like Sundays off, and I do, like I said, go to the temple quite regularly now on a Sunday. And it's just, to be fair, I mean, what do I enjoy on the side, bro? Like, obviously training's great. I love training. I've recently gotten into, like I said, meditation as well. And I think the Sundays for me is just a reset day where, you kind of just want to keep your mind sane for the week ahead.
Yeah.
In terms of hobbies, fuck, I don't think I've got any, bro.
Not at
Give
the
me an
moment.
example. What's a hobby?
Get into fighting. Get into MMA,
Yeah.
bro.
Oh no, I do. Yeah. I
Yeah.
got into Muay Thai a couple months ago, but I just
Yeah.
haven't been consistent with it recently. I think that's the move, bro.
I think honestly,
that's a move.
Shout out to Khan. He's my trainer. So
Yeah.
he represented Australia in the not Olympics, but on a very high level.
Yeah.
Grappling expert,
Fuck yeah.
fighting expert.
Yeah.
You drop your guard, he's kicking the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Right. So that or training and that has been really helpful.
Yeah.
So you got into Muay Thai for a bit.
I do. Yeah. I did
Nice.
it, and I just haven't been for a little while
Consistent
recently.
with it.
But bro, that was fun as fuck.
Yeah.
I do run still as
Yeah.
well.
Speak about that because I'm interested. I've never got into running or cardio.
Bro, me too.
I've lifting weights, of course, but how does running and cardio? How is that?
Man, it's just something that kind of. Look, I'm very fresh to it. I'm not like fucking Strava,
a pro runner.
Strava 10K. Or look, put it on my IG.
your Whoop. Do you have a Whoop?
I don't have a Whoop.
Not yet. Yeah. That's the next.
No, I'm not there yet. But I think I got into it because I was just trying to find things like besides training, like gym, to really put my body under stress, right? And I think the thing is with running, when you're running, like I mentioned before, you're like, what the, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But bro, genuinely, even if you do like again, I'm not some fucking pro runner or anything, but even if you do like half an hour or whatever, X amount of time, after that, your mind is just in a complete state of zen, right?
Yeah.
Because you feel amazing, bro. So I want to keep that up for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, training's always great though, bro. Without a doubt.
I respect
just
that.
going
Yeah.
to the gym for sure.
And a lot of people ask, sometimes people come up to me in the gym or whatever, and they
Bro,
say,
you're looking great, man.
"It's getting there, bro.
Straight
It's
up,
getting
bro.
there. It's
Since I
getting
saw you
there."
last time.
But there's some gyms that you get humbled real quick.
You're looking
Some
good, bro. No Diddy, man. You're looking great.
It's getting it's getting there. I appreciate that. It's a lot of people will come up to me at the gym, be like, what's the training split or what do you do?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not about the
What are
training.
you jabbing?
Well, who's your doctor? I don't think, I always tell them, I'm like, it's not really yes, your training in your split is important, but then your diet and what you do at home is important. Right. That's what's is a game changer, I feel like.
Bro, I'll tell you one thing, right? So every time I bulk, I've tried, don't get me wrong, like I do want to get bigger, stronger.
Yeah.
But every time I bulk and I'm at about 3,500, 3,000 to 3,500, the amount of carbs you have to eat, right, at that point, which is about 400 odd.
Yeah.
I genuinely can feel the shift in my focus.
Yeah.
Because carbs, bro, they will fog your brain.
For sure.
And so like what happens to me is I'll go on a bulk and I'm like, cool, man, I want to get bigger. But at the same time, I need to focus. Like I really want to focus on whatever I'm doing. And so it's always like they're going against each other, bro.
I get that 100%.
And then someone did tell me that you can bulk off of carnivore, right? And but at the same time, when you do carnivore, you're only putting on lean mass, right? And you have to eat about 4,500 calories. And apparently, if you go past 4.5, it's too much meat, and so your body starts rejecting it.
Right.
This is what I've been told.
Right.
So, yeah, that's an option, but the traditional bulk, man, it's like
it's difficult. I've found, in my personal opinion, it's always been harder to eat more than stick to a clean or a normal diet. There's only so much you can consume before you start feeling full or lethargic, or so it's about the bulk and the cut phase. Now I'm at a point where at the start it was about tracking calories, the macronutrients or whatever.
Yeah.
Now I'm at a point where just loosely track.
Yeah.
Cheat meals are all right. When you're traveling, especially with family and stuff, it's never gonna handle. It's never gonna work. Mm-hmm. So as anyone at the gym that comes up to me, I just say, look, try and eat as clean as possible.
Sure.
Try as hard as you can. And then a lot of it is just genetics. So
what were you, bro? Like when I saw you a year old ago?
I was probably 70 kilos.
And now you are
83. Yeah.
That
so that's a
the chat, man.
Yeah, that's a 13. So for a lot of people might not know, but I used to be a really obese kid.
No way.
Bro, I was like a fat, I was like a Oompa Loompa when I was
true.
real. So like year 5, year 6, I used to be a very obese kid. And then year 7 came and I got very skinny.
Okay.
Used to just, strict diet, just wouldn't eat much, got very skinny, but it was the wrong way to do it.
Gotcha.
Because I would restrict myself from food just to drop weight.
Yeah.
And then later on, when I started sort of, either like yourself, YouTube content, videos, it's not about restricting yourself. It's about eating the right foods, eating a good level or good amount of foods, and training as hard. And that just changed my life around, just doing that. So I'm from obese to really skinny to probably when you saw me still skinny to then I was like, there's basics, there's fundamentals that you can learn and do it. Yeah. Like I said, there's some gyms that you go to and you get humbled real quick. Shout out to Universal Gym. Right. You get humbled real quick. Sure. But for where I am today, I think it's just getting the fundamentals and the basics right. Just like you said, like yourself, it's that knowledge on how to train more efficiently and how to eat more cleaner and efficiently. Don't go hard on yourself because then the rebound won't be that great. Try and do it to the best of your ability with the resources that you have. Because an Indian diet tastes
delicious.
It tastes too good, but it's got a lot of fat and got a lot of
it's just fats and carbs.
It's just fats and carbs, exactly. So like for us, there's a thing called parota and beef. Or parota, it's parota and chicken curry or butter chicken.
Of course.
All right. And parota and it tastes amazing. But
it's incredible.
You know what I mean? You eat that. If you eat that 3 days a week, I'm sure in 10 years you're probably gonna die. But so that's the Indian diet, right? So it's about I'm not gonna say no to mum's cooking. Sometimes you do, sometimes you have to, but it's about balancing that diet. It's probably being from Mumbai, it's probably the same, isn't it?
Absolutely, bro. The food tastes phenomenal, bro. Yeah. But at the same time, you definitely can't eat it every day, man.
Every day.
And what's cool is that once you do start eating good, because I definitely, what you said, man, spot on, right? You want to eat good, clean food, not just for training, but the way you feel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And bro, because I used to just eat garbage, right? And so when you switch from that to eating decent food and you've got that consistently happening, even if I just go and eat KFC now, bro, you feel like shit.
Yeah.
You genuinely feel it. Like it tastes amazing. But right afterwards, that, you're like, what?
Why did I just do that?
100%, bro. But before, I couldn't feel it because naturally I'm just eating shit food.
Yeah.
So food is like, bro, it's so important, man.
100%. No, I get that. And like you said, it's about finding the balance and striking the balance. Don't be too hard on yourself because if you do, it's going to do more mental harm than it does. But the benefits mentally of training, eating clean, and if you look good, you feel good, confidence level goes up. And I think it just all comes together in one. But I think this has been great. I think this is your first podcast that you're on. Yeah. This is episode 2 of what we're doing. So we're looking to grow this and just have a conversation. Like I said, I'm not inviting everyone as a guest to the podcast. It's just people that I respect and I respect in their specific niche or their industry. Mm-hmm. So what you're doing in the barbering world is super important to the young people out there that is aspiring to get into this industry. So that's what sort of stood out to me. And I said, if you can pave the way in that industry, then you can always, it can translate across to everything that you do. So appreciate you coming on, bro.
I appreciate having me, man.
And always, as always. So hopefully we'll catch up in a couple months time, and then things have changed.
1,000%. No, you guys are doing incredible things, bro. Straight up, like this is insane, man. Like the setup that you guys have, and you've only been doing this for
probably 7 months now. The the marketing side of things. So
I'm so happy for you, bro.
Appreciate that, man. And shout out to Louis for the behind the scenes stuff.
Man.
He's set up 3 cameras. So anyone that wants to be a guest on the next podcast as we sort of grow this into hopefully something bigger. And my focus is Australian creators and business owners, because I don't think that gets spotlighted enough. So hopefully we can grow this, and all the best to you, bro. You're going to do great things.
Appreciate you, bro.
Easy.
Appreciate you. Legend.